Now, this one's weird because Manaphy is the only mythical that can be bred.
Like, we're talking like whole wheat, multigrain.
I mean, like shoving it in the same room as a Ditto and then walking away.
Oh, completely different.
You're tuned into the GoCast podcast, your one-stop shop for updates, news, tips, and community in the world of Pokemon Go. Thank you for listening.
Aw, snap! A new celebratory event is coming.
Put your hands together for the newest edition of Pokemon Go.
We're cleaning up our act during Sustainability Week.
Sketch a picture. It'll last longer.
And more on this episode of GoCast. Hello and welcome to the GoCast podcast. This is episode 141. It's April 20th. It's another Tuesday evening. Nothing else special about the day. Wink. My name is Chris. I'm your host. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kyle.
Hiya.
Hey, Kyle. How's it going?
You know, it is. It is.
It is. It is going, or it just
It
is?
just is. It just is right now.
Okay. All right. How it's going is how it's going. Great. That's nice to hear. For the sake of everybody's mental health, I'm not going to ask any more prying questions. How about that? That sounds good. Before we get started here, shout out to one brand new patron of ours, Toby Wan, which I love that name so much. Kyle and I, we got a giggle out of it when we were first talking about the notes, and the giggle again just now. That's good value. So thank you. All right, Kyle, we made some goals last week, and it's also been, as mentioned, I suppose, a week. So anything notable happened this week, and then we can talk about goals. I know you've been really busy, so maybe nothing crazy, but anything?
Not really. This was a very light Pokemon week due to just some personal stuff going on in real life. I just didn't really feel like playing Pokemon Go, so it just is how it fell.
That's fair enough. And so nothing crazy. You didn't get like a shiny, didn't wake up to a tooth fairy shiny underneath your pillow or anything like that?
No shiny this week.
Oh, okay. All right. I had an okay week. I did a lot of walking again, as I said I would, and I hit several of my goals. I'm excited to talk about that. But outside of the goals, when eggs hatched, I got 3 shinies this week. I got a Magikarp, Yahoo, a Patchrat, Yahoo.
Oh.
And just now during Spotlight Hour, yes, that's right, I actually played a Spotlight Hour. I got a shiny Grimer. Thrilled about that. But let's talk about goals. How about that, huh?
Uh-huh.
All right, Kyle, your first one was to get down to 2,000 in storage.
I did not do that.
Ooh, okay.
I got to 2,500 because I forgot what goal I set for myself. And by the time I talked to Chris again, I'm like, no, I'm not going back through my storage right now.
Oh, you could just delete a whole block of 500. I thought you didn't care.
Well, all of my stuff is now like spaced out. I don't have a bunch of one type of Pokemon like I do when I do that all the time.
Oh, so not so easy now, is it? Huh?
Well, no, I just have to scroll, and that's too much time for right before we record.
I just don't have the energy to scroll through my inventory. Landorus T times 10.
No, I only did like 3 or 4.
Okay. All right. Spend Stardust. That was your open-ended, whatever you want it to be goal.
Yeah, I spent like 800,000 just before the show.
You spent 800K just to put you power up. I don't know, a couple of oddish. I don't know.
I maxed out my like 96% Kyogre, who was apparently sitting at level 38. I maxed out 2 Tyrannitars that were at level 35. Powered up a Groudon, powered up my 100% Entei. What else? Powered up a couple of my Rhyperiors that were sitting at like 3,000 CP to 3,600, whatever it was. So just all stuff that I use regularly, but we're not fully powered up. Oh, I maxed out 2 Metagross that I had Meteor Mash.
Meteor Mash? Yeah, there we go. Nice. Bringing that neutral DPS. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody just invite Kyle to your raids. He'll just show up with 6 maxed out meteor mesh Metagross.
Yeah, invite me
All
to
right.
invite me
Point
to
the
all
finger.
your Grand Bull raids.
Yeah, do it. Please do. Because I'm not answering that call. No, sir. Halfway to Best Buddy with Gengar is your last goal.
I'm really glad I didn't go ambitious and say all the way to Best Buddy. Because that was what I wanted to do. That was in my mind. I got 3/4 of the way, so I did it.
Oh, nice. Well done. So 2 out of 4. Not bad for a less than involved week. Like you said, he didn't play too much. So nice. For myself, I wanted to hit at least 1 million experience, and I did do that handily. I did like 1.2 this week or something like that. 50 plus eggs. I mean, like 55. So I did that. Best Buddy Machamp. Tyson and I are best buddies as of yesterday.
Yeah.
And I've moved on to Quasar, the Rayquaza. Sorry, the Rayquaza? I don't know.
I have always said Rayquaza.
I mean, I think Rayquaza is correct and Rayquaza is what I like to say.
Rayquaza sounds better.
And then 300,000 Stardust, and boy howdy, did I blow that one out of the water. I got 400,000 Stardust. So not by much, but enough I get to say that I blew it out of the water. Great. That's a 4 out of 4. Ooh, I win with a perfect score this week by virtue of having time to play, which is an unfair way of framing this. But let's not diminish my own victory here, Chris. Okay, Chris, you got it. Anyway, 2 other little things here. Reversal hit me up in DMs today, and he was like, hey, listening to the podcast, just 2 quick things. First, he had some tips for dealing with Cliff's Aerodactyl. Kyle and I talked about how it was a little bit difficult. So use a Pokemon with Magnet Bomb and have them be like secondary. For instance, the example that he used was a Magnezone. Swap right into the Magnezone right away and then just burn down the Aerodactyl shields from there really quickly and easily. And then the rest of the fight should basically play itself because the rest are kind of easy to build counters around. He also sent me a link to a video of him doing it with 2,500 and under CP for his entire team, which we will link in the show notes.
And for those who don't know, the idea of putting the Magnezone second is because if you switch, that causes the Rocket AI to pause for, I believe it's 2 full seconds, but I don't know the exact number. So you get halfway to your charge move before they even attack you.
Yeah. Yeah, which is one of the great benefits of bringing, for example, for like Machamp, like Cross Chop. By the time you cast it, though, too, the delay is the same as if you had swapped. So you could spam charge moves. Everybody's familiar with that delay. It's the same with swapping, like Kyle was saying as well. And then additionally, Rev said, hey, when fast catching Pokemon, Pokemon from Incense or Photobomb will stay after being fast caught on the overworld. So we were talking about how we weren't really quite sure what caused them to stay around and what didn't. Apparently, Incense or Photobomb will make them stick around longer.
That's good to know. I'll have to pay more attention to that then when I'm playing, especially for community days.
Yeah. So shout out to you, Reversal. Thank you for the insight. Appreciate it. Okay. I think that's it. And then it's time for the news section. Yo, what up? It's the news. And we just got one news story this week, and it's a new event. Who would have guessed? New Pokemon Snap event. Trainers. The new Pokemon Snap celebration commemorates the April 30th release of New Pokemon Snap for Nintendo Switch. In New Pokemon Snap, you'll travel to islands unknown to photograph a variety of Pokemon and create your very own Pokemon photo decks. To celebrate the game's release, how clever, you can enjoy an event in Pokemon Go inspired by this fun method of researching Pokemon ecology through photography. In celebration of the release of New Pokemon Snap on Nintendo Switch, you can look forward to an event inspired by the photography-focused game and the Lentil region where it's set. I gotta say, as a big Pokemon fan, not a big fan of how they named this region.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I mean, I get it, but I don't understand why
I just think of lentil soup.
Yeah, that's it. It's intent. It has to be intentional, right?
I guess so. Maybe it'll make more sense after we play it, but who knows?
I don't know.
Pokemon inspired by different habitats in the Lentil region will be appearing more often in the wild and in raids. A new avatar item and sticker will be available, and Shiny Smeargle will be making its Pokemon Go debut. Whoa, cool. When is this happening? From Thursday, April 29th at 10 a.m. to Sunday, May 2nd at 8 p.m. local time.
That's my birthday.
May 2nd? It's your birthday?
Yes.
Cool. So we can hang out after 8 p.m. because I got an event to do. How about that?
Okay. I'm working,
right.
so.
Oh, great. You're not free until 11:30 anyway.
Yeah. 9:30.
9:30. True. Features include Pokemon inspired by the deserts, jungles, and underwater landscapes of the Lentil region, such as Lotad, Cacnea, and Ducklet. What a 5-star list of Pokemon. Will be appearing more often in the wild. Smeargle will be appearing in snapshots more often than usual. If you're lucky, you might even encounter a shiny Smeargle. Please note that Smeargle will only appear in snapshots a limited number of times, and while shiny Smeargle will no longer appear after the event concludes, you may encounter one during future events. We'll come back to that in a second. That's worth revisiting. Pokemon inspired by the Lentil region like Vaporeon, Meganium, and Trapinch will be appearing more often in raids, and look forward to event-exclusive field research and timed research that's focused on taking snapshots. A camera avatar item and a camera-themed gift sticker will be available in the shop during the event. The new gift sticker will also be available from Pokestops. That's pretty cool. Okay, so shiny Smeargle will be available for the event, and then after the event is over, it will be taken out. We've seen this before with one other Pokemon, and that Pokemon is Meltan. You can make an argument for Ditto, but they didn't guarantee that Ditto was going to be coming back in the future. You can probably make a good assumption that it will, but they outlined specifically for Meltan, and we've seen shiny Meltan come back like twice.
I'm pretty sure it's just once.
It came back once, so it's been available twice.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and then they're signaling that'll be the same treatment for Smeargle.
Yes.
So some people are upset about this. Some people don't care. And some people like this. I think the first camp is more vocal than the other two camps combined.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. Why, if you didn't care, why would you say anything, I suppose? So Kyle, I'd love to hear your take on this. First of all, what camp are you in? Secondly, do you think there's anything worth exploring with this? And third, do you even care about shiny Smeargle?
First camp is I don't think it's that big a deal.
Okay. That wasn't one of the camps. So is that the third one? Or is that the middle one that you don't care?
Well, it's upset about it, okay with it, and it's indifferent, right?
Yeah. So you're okay with
indifferent. It doesn't matter in my opinion. I understand entirely why people are upset about it though.
Okay.
I don't know how much there actually is to say, because the people who are upset about it will not be swayed one way or another. They have perfectly good reasons to be upset about it, but that doesn't really change how anyone else is going to feel either. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And like, it's different in another scenario where you can maybe make an argument or debate back and forth about it. But this is the kind of position where everyone's going to hold firm and no one's going to be swayed. For the most part, when I say everyone, I don't mean 100% of all people. I just mean a vast majority of the people who hold those beliefs.
Sure. I'm going to say I'm in the camp that is completely okay with it. And I actually kind of wish they would do more stuff like this, where they had limited availability for shinies, because believe it or not, shinies have no pivotal gameplay mechanic associated with them, despite everybody kind of treating them as such. And so to give them special treatment instead of being like, okay, now it's available, good luck whenever it shows up, you can now see it. I kind of like having a reason to be excited about a particular type of event that I would normally not care that much about. Go Snapshot is a great example. While I love the feature, it's not like the thing I do, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I like having a reason to be excited about that event that I otherwise would not care as much about.
Here's a thought. So limited amount of encounters, it's assumed 5, right? 5.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable to assume. Sure.
That's just kind of what we expect. It's how many Rotom we got. It's how many they do on Community Day. So that's 20. I'm sorry. That's 20 because it starts Thursday and Sunday. If it's not a boosted rate, that's not cool. If it's even a perma boosted rate like Chansey, 1 in 70, that's fine.
Yeah.
But at 1 in 400 or whatever the higher end of shiny rates are,
yeah,
that feels bad for people who do want to try and get shiny Smeargle.
I can agree with that. But even if it does have an abysmally low, and that is to say normal shiny rate, I think that my argument still stands for my opinion here. Gives me a reason to look forward and give it another try later. It's not a core gameplay thing. It's whatever. It's just an added bonus. It's a reason to engage with the feature and the event, therefore.
I will just take the opposite opinion in that if it was base shiny rate and they left it in, that gives you a reason to forever take part in the feature because you could only get one snapshot a day.
And that's very, very true. So hopefully it is boosted and only available during the events. And I feel like that would be the best scenario.
I'd be all for having a conversation with somebody who feels otherwise, because I've only read people's very angry opinions online about it. No one is very reasonable about it, but
people angry online? That's illegal.
I know, right?
That can't even happen. I don't believe you. Yes, I do. Anyway, that's it for the news. Just that one piece of news for you, which means sooner than normal, which is great in my opinion, because I look forward to this every single week. We're going to pass it over to Kyle for Gear Up.
So this week on Gear Up, we're going to be doing a little like speculation, prediction type thing.
Ooh.
And we're going to be talking about GoFest because it's April. It's almost May, and we haven't heard anything about GoFest. Whether it's going to be a ticketed stay-at-home thing, whether they want to wait and postpone it till next year and just go for an in-person thing again, I find that one very, very unlikely.
We just don't even know if we're going to have one.
Yeah, and that's an option. It could not be. That would be a bad idea by Niantic, but it is definitely an option. It's not the option I hope for. But what does GoFest in 2021 look like if it's stay at home? We've had a full year now of events where you're staying at home. So there's been a lot of adapting and adding to the game in the meantime. And also Stay at Home Fest 2020 kind of set the precedent for a lot of those things as well. First up, the biome hours. GoFest had to work around not having specific locations, so they switched to time slots. Love it or hate it, I think it was successful. Although it's a little disappointing not being able to pick what you're going after.
It's a good alternative given the scenario.
Exactly. It is probably the best way to work out the problem without just letting the players say, hey, I want to go to this biome now or this biome now.
Right.
Which could be an option. Like that could be a feature they add to the game in the middle of an event. But I don't think they would do that.
Yeah.
And they've also done a lot of hourly stuff since then. We had the Kanto tour, of course, which rotated through the cities and the types. And we've also had at least 2 incense days where it rotated hour by hour what spawns your incense pulled. The most recent one being the psychic one with Beldum. Not even that long ago. Honestly, I don't know. Was it that long ago? Time is
no, it was like sense. A month ago. I think.
Yeah. See, I saw Reversal's video and it was posted at the start of February, and I'm like, we've had these rocket leaders for 2 months.
Yeah.
But talking about the biomes, I hope we see more interesting things like battle and friendship and less of the generic fire, water, grass that we had. I know they're flagship, they're the types,
Yeah, it's hard to not do that.
You have to put things in there that are really compelling and not make them rare.
Like what?
Well, last year we had Alolan Marowak, who was pretty great to have in fire, but he was not very common. I didn't see most of my spawns until the second day when all the spawns happened at once.
Mm-hmm.
Or make something worth catching in water, lots of shelter. Just make it all, not all shelter, but
oops, all shelter.
Oops, all shelter. It's like 30% shelter. I'll be fine. something worth catching. I can't think of a grass type that would make it compelling off the top of my head, but you could think of probably some bug types that then, Combi, Sports Stardust, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But also it's very easy for some like hype picks to sneak in there. Like they're really good at juxtaposing Scyther. And I noticed the optics of Scyther spawns a lot more because it's like one of my favorite Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
But I think that they do right consistently by some Pokemon at that caliber,
Agreed. Of course, this is all made much more complicated because you want every single thing that spawns to be shiny capable.
Right.
Because you don't want to feel like you wasted your time clicking something when could be shiny.
And now, if it was Kanto, it's shiny possible.
Yeah. But aside from Biome Hours, we have something new that we didn't have last year, and it's the collection challenges. You can be sure whenever we get Go Fest again, there will be like 12 of them. Just catch everything, do everything. And it's going to be great. Like, I'm really looking forward to that. Just tick off all of the check boxes, please. All of them.
Yes.
And of course, it's not going to be a Go Fest without special spawns. First things first, the regional. What regional is it going to be, Chris? Or rather, let me provide a list of what I think it could be.
Okay.
Because I looked through them. I'm like, what's still regional again? You don't think about it if you can't catch it, right?
Very true. Yeah, like Corsola, not even in the conversation.
I just forget that's a Pokemon so often now because I don't see it in Go.
True.
First off is Sigilife. That seems like that's a prime one for a Go Fest personally. One that's a little less so, Maractus.
It was a newer edition. I'd probably lean away from that.
It's not that new when you consider when we're going to get this event.
I was thinking more like Generation 2 Pokemon, like Heracross.
I'm thinking of stuff that hasn't been featured in other global events, for example. And I'm pretty sure Heracross was like the feature for the one in the Philippines last year. Was it Philippines? Not last year, but 2019.
Heracross was also at the very first Go Fest.
Oh yeah, that's right. Never got that one.
Yeah,
still
a lot of people that went there also didn't get one. So you're in good company.
Here's one that occurred to me, and I'm like, no, don't do it. But it's something so Niantic at this point is the Elemental Monkeys.
You know what?
Pansear, Panpour, Pansage.
Let's just get it over with.
True.
Like I need them. You need them. We all want to catch one. Let's just get it over with.
not at Go Fest. Now, this is the one, though. I saved the best for last because I think it's probably the best regional, and it's Tropius.
Yes, Nannerbeard.
What else is there to say? Tropius is really good in PvP, and not a lot of people have him.
Mm-hmm.
Would be really exciting to see that as a feature.
I mean, I think outside of that, like we already touched on the two that I think will probably show back up, although you have a great counter argument for it. But like Heracross and Corsola, I think now that we've given the Gen 1 regionals to everybody at the Kanto event, even though people still manage to not catch them, that it's time to move on to the other ones that people have had for a long, long time. Heracross is a great example.
Yeah, I would like a Corsola, please. I don't have one.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That said, no, don't give me Corsola because we're going to get Galarian Corsola eventually, and that'll be.
You mean Corsola?
No, Corsola is the evolution.
Oh, that's right.
The first one will count for Dex. Anyways, moving on from regionals, though, it wouldn't be Go Fest without more rare spawns. Now, we don't have a new pseudo legendary this year. We have not received one, which means the newest one is still Gible. Sorry to disappoint. Axew is not a pseudo legendary. For those of you who don't know that, which is a shame, but it could still spawn. Don't be disappointed yet.
It's not technically a pseudo legendary, but it's being treated as one.
It is, but it's not. He doesn't have the 600 base stats.
Oh,
it's not okay.
My God. Everybody get a load of this guy.
Now, that said, we don't have an announcement. We don't know anything about dates or anything. Goodra could be out by the time this was a thing. It could be a good opportunity for it to be a rare spawn at an event that gets people even more excited.
Mm-hmm.
They don't usually release new Pokemon for GoFest, so this is assuming it comes out before GoFest happens, though. Same for Honedge. That one's just me. But Honedge,
sir, step away from the mic. Sir,
look, it's a perfect.
Get off the table.
It's a perfect fit for another battle hour. Aegislash is gonna be really good in PvP. I'm telling you. It's just it could be great. Okay. Anyway,
you're just so passionate about this.
I'm so passionate. Everyone dumps on Aegislash because it was a sword and a shield.
Yeah.
At the time it came out, and it's such a good Pokemon.
You should have started off Sword and Shield with a Honedge.
I wish. And you couldn't even catch one until like way too late in the game. But anyways.
Yeah.
Of course, there's Gibble and Dino. Expect to see those flaunted again, as well as the other pseudo legendaries. Dratini, Larvitar will be around because why not? Beldum for sure. Those three will probably be on the common side of the spawns, and then Gibble and Dino will be on the rare side.
Yeah,
because the shiny more than anything.
Beldum is now the next one on us coupon that we all get.
Yeah.
It's kind of a freebie.
And then lastly, anything that's not very common that you want XL candy for, because I'm sure they're keeping track of that. Stuff like Snorlax, we know. Lickitung, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
Something a little bit less. Stunfisk, which we've had in an event recently, but really you can only get in eggs currently, is another big one. I couldn't find any more obvious candidates for XL candy that would make sense, but I'm sure there are more out there that would fill in that list. Next up, we have to include raids if we're talking about Stay at Home Fest, because people are going to be doing raids. And honestly, here's the weird one. The same raids as last year would not be so bad anymore because XL candy exists.
Hang on. Read your list first. I got some thoughts.
So in case you don't remember, the 4 Pokemon that were in legendary raids for Stay at Home Fest were Kyogre and Groudon, Dialga and Palkia.
We need Palkia and Dialga shinies before they run these back again.
As much as we do, people will raid Dialga for that XL candy.
Okay, we at least need shiny Palkia. They can hold on to Dialga for another event. That'd be fine. But
oh, God. But if we wanted to go for something else, you could also do more PvP focused. I know Dialga is PvP focused already, but Deoxys forms would be a pretty decent idea. Make raids turn over super fast and put all the Deoxys forms in them. That'd be pretty cool.
We really only need defense form.
Yeah, we only need defense form.
Mm-hmm.
But if I get one defense form and then I can do like 50 at speed form or attack form.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I'll take that.
You know what? I didn't appreciate that from a speed rating perspective. I think you're right. Yeah.
Registeel. Chance for Registeel XL candy for Ultra League. And Cresselia. We haven't had Cresselia in a long time now. We haven't had Registeel in a while either, but. And that's all for the raids. I'm sticking to the legendaries because it doesn't really matter what they put in 3 stars. I really hope nobody goes and rates them. Unless you need it, do one for whatever the collection is. Last year we had Aerodactyl and Chansey.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I did one of each.
Aerodactyl that's a great way to shiny hunt for Aerodactyl, but you see Chansey in so many other types of events, it's like almost not even worth it.
Yeah. But lastly is GoFest. It's not GoFest without a mythical Pokemon.
True.
So I got a list of mythical Pokemon. Chris, I want to hear what you have to say. First up is Arceus.
No.
Not happening.
No.
That one's just on there for fun. They don't know what to do with Arceus. He just won't happen.
I think they know what to do with Arceus. I think they're waiting for the correct event to come around to feature Arceus for the first time. And then we'll get it 18 more times.
Yeah, in 12 years. It'll take us 12 years to get every Arceus form. Next up is one that seems fairly likely to me. Manaphy and Fione? 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 Yeah.
Manaphy and the other one.
Yeah, Manaphy and the not legendary, mythical, legendary thing.
Yeah, the other one.
Now, this one's weird because Manaphy is the only mythical that can be bred.
Like, we're talking like whole wheat, multigrain, ciabatta.
I mean, like shoving it in the same room as a Ditto and then walking away.
Oh, completely different. Gotcha.
But the egg that it produces does not make another Manaphy. It makes a Fione. And you can have as many Fione as you want, but there's only one Manaphy. So if they went this route, they'd put Manaphy in the special research. Maybe they put Fione just in raids because it's not a special. We have had mythicals technically in raids. Technically speaking, Darkrai is a mythical, so it's not unheard of.
I think this would be the time for them to introduce special event eggs that are their own specific distance, different color or whatever, and you have to hatch them during the event.
Oh God, Chris, be quiet.
I don't
want to hear.
I will put you in like a tiny dog backpack and I'll carry you around so we can hatch these eggs. That's what we'll do.
Oh my God.
We'll do like a Yoda Skywalker situation. Be like, carry me around. I don't want to hatch any eggs.
God.
That'd be great.
But speaking of two mythicals in one, there's Shaman and also Skyform Shaman.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a mythical with two forms. Who knows what they're going to do with it, but it's just as easy to just give both as it is to give one.
I think we'll just get them one at a time and they'll be stuck in their forms. We'll get hedgehog form and flying deer form.
Yeah, but like, will we get them at the same time?
No.
No?
No.
I do. I actually think they're going to be the reward for the same event because they can only do it once.
I think that's optimistic thinking.
I think if we just get one, people will be very upset, just like with Manaphy.
You know what? Okay, I'm not just going to poop on the idea and not give you a counterexample. I think it's much more likely in this scenario that we would receive hedgehog form. By the way, that's not the correct form, but everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Hedgehog form, the one that looks like a little cute hedgehog, which is my favorite preferred form of Shaman.
Yes.
We get that. And then later for like a spring event or something else that celebrates nature, it is part of special research for that. We get the other form.
I don't know. It'd be a mythical in a special research that is separate from like anything.
Or the research that you get for the event has one and the research you get after the event has the other one.
But what about the people who don't buy the event?
They don't get the hedgehog. Should have bought a ticket.
No, we can't do that. Before Chris puts his foot any farther in his mouth, we'll move on to the next one.
It's a big mouth.
Last is Keldeo. It's the My Little Pony of Pokemon. And it would just finish the Swords of Justice. Like, come on. It's not going to be that great. So.
What if it's a 20-page research, Kyle? Very difficult. You have to play all day very hard to get it finished, and your reward is Kecleon. Not shiny.
Like I could see them doing that, but then there's one more step. They're like, just kidding.
It's Meltan.
It's Meltan. But so that's just my fairly long take. It's been almost 20 minutes now of what would a Stay at Home Fest 2021 look like. But I'm all for other ideas within reason from anybody else who has thoughts. What do you think, Chris? Do you think I said anything crazy here? Do you have anything crazy you'd like to see at a Stay at Home Fest?
No, I don't think anything crazy. I would love to see them just like come out swinging and close a lot of, gaps currently of things that were like really like, it would be great to get Kecleon just sort of like as an add-on to the other stuff. Be cool to finish that up and wrap that whole generation up for sure. Release shinies for things we've been waiting for, like Palkia, Ancestral, or Dialga would be really great. But I think mostly if they stay the course and do something similar that they did last year, maybe with less rocket stuff, I think I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Honestly, I was happy. And honestly, the rocket stuff was fine, just not as the Go Fest. I want to see that amount of rocket stuff for other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the rocket takeover was fun. It was cool. I just cared more about the spawns day 2 than I did about the rocket takeover.
Yeah, you're at a significant disadvantage in that situation if you're not using a Go Plus or you're not a gacha owner or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right. Well, looking forward to whatever Niantic decides to do this year. I mean, like Kyle mentioned, we're really getting to that point where they probably should at least tell us if it's happening or not. I don't see why it wouldn't happen, but time's a ticking. We're getting close to it being too late here. So let's see. Anyway, let's move along here to the Pokelore. And this week we're going to be talking about the newest addition to the Pokemon Go available pool of Pokemon, Binacle, the two-handed Pokemon, and Barbaracle, the collective Pokemon. They both also share an additional category of being Kyle's favorite Pokemon.
I hate this Pokemon.
You sure do, buddy. Binacle's up first. Binacle is a Pokemon that resembles a goose barnacle. The most majestic of all barnacles. It also has the appearance of a hand and arm. The hand, that has quotes around it, serves as its head. Its head is brown with puffy orange cheeks and an orange marking where a nose would be located. On top of its head are 3 long claws. Its body is orange and a white band is around the middle. Binacle is always found as a pair living in a single gray rock that needed to cooperate with each other in order to survive. It moves by stretching and contracting its bodies and yanking the rock along in a hopping motion. The pair has a tendency of squabbling with one another. When they do, one of them will move and find a different rock with a different Binacle to live alongside with. Binacle eats seaweed and washes up on the shoreline.
Hang on. The rock is not part of the Pokemon?
No,
I refuse.
I mean, it is, but it's also not.
No, it's like a shell. They can leave. No, that doesn't make it. Doesn't make any sense when you look at the next Pokemon.
It makes just as much sense as like Beldum fusing together or Magnemite fusing together to make other evolutions.
No. What? No.
You can break Magneton apart into other Magnemites again.
That's fine because it's just the body. There's no rock holding them together. And that they can't just leave the rock. That's like saying Diglett can just get out of the ground and walk away.
Maybe it can. I've seen a lot of fan art that would indicate that it possibly could.
Okay, but then Barbaracle is like a counter example to this, and I'll let you read that.
Okay, Barbaracle is a bipedal Pokemon with a body that consists of 2 gray rocks connected by an orange segmented waist. It has 4 orange arms connected to the upper rock. Its head is brown and resembles a left fist. There are 4 clawed fingers on top and a clawed thumb on its right cheek. Sounds like a hand to me. Its face is orange with 2 eyes, but no other distinguishable features. Each arm has a brown hand with a single eye in the center of the palm, 4 long claws, and a brown band around the middle. Insert Pan's Labyrinth monster sound here. Its legs are also orange, but have 2 brown bands and brown feet with 4 claws and a 4-pointed star on the soles. It's also written right next to it as Andy. Through evolution, 2 Binacle have multiplied into 7, which is not how math works. Each limb thinks for itself and moves independently, though they usually follow the head's orders. But only if it has enough gym badges, I'm assuming. Something like that. Since each limb has an eye, it is able to see in all directions at once. All right, so what was the counter example here?
It's 2 rocks connected. Where did the second rock come from when it evolved? Does it have to go and find a pair of rocks to wear as shorts?
Well, through evolution, 2 Binacle have multiplied into 7, so that's 2 rocks.
Fine. That's like the genetic makeup of the Pokemon turning into 7 Pokemon.
No. Oh, I guess you're right. It does.
This one's not like Beldum where the two Binacle found 2 more Binacle and then made 7.
But a pair of Binacle is just Binacle. Like it's just one Binacle.
Yes.
So this could be saying the 2 Binacle within one Binacle, or it could be saying 2 Binacles, which would be 4 Binacles. But then it makes 7, which is not correct.
But it's not.
Where's
it's
the
not
other
correct,
one
but also
from?
I refuse. 1 Binacle counts for 2 hands. It's the 2-handed Pokemon. Well, 1 can go leave. It cannot. That's nonsense. That's why I said it's nonsense. It can't leave. It's the 2-handed Pokemon. It's the 2-handed Pokemon. You can't just walk. It's like a Doug trio. One of them leaving because they wanted, and then it's just a Doug duo.
Yeah, Doug duo. No, that's a Doe duo, dude. Come on. Hey, what did one Binacle say to the other one when they left the rock?
What?
Bye, Binacle. All right, let's move on to stats before Kyle reaches through the internet and strangles me. Stats include, here we go. Nothing exciting. Sorry to spoil it for you. Max CP at level 40, 2675. That's a resounding yikes from the audience. At level 50, 3025. Ooh, we barely made it. They said it wasn't possible, but here we are. We got over 3K. Now, what could be responsible for this? Oh, probably these stats right here. 176 stamina, 205 defense, and only 194 attack. Yikes. Best moveset, Water Gun Stone Edge, I guess. Those are the only 2 moves that you can have with stab in both categories. They're not even the same type, but it's a Water Rocks type Pokemon. So there you go. Have at it. It is not our official recommendation to ever use this Pokemon for anything.
Don't do it.
But if you're going to, Water Gun and Stone Edge, I guess. So, Kyle, you dislike this Pokemon.
I do.
Do you like it more or less now, having learned about its biology and whatever you want to call it?
I like it less.
Okay.
I love the idea of each limb thinks for itself and moves independently. It's like some kind of eldritch horror. If it didn't look so dang goofy.
It does look pretty goofy. It does.
And the thing with the rock is unforgivable for me. I just can't.
Unforgivable.
It's unforgivable. It was supposed to redeem it, and it just made it worse.
You know what? The rock is fine for me. The issue that I have is that 2 + 2 = 7 with this Pokemon. And that freaks me out. That's not how it works. Ugh, whatever. Oy vey. Let's move on to the Pokepoll. How about that?
So last week's Pokepoll was, which Pokemon do you think has incorrect typing, and how would you fix it? First one's from Modders, and he said, hello, gents. For me, the odd bod Pokemon typing is on Psyduck. Why is it a pure water type? Surely it should be water psychic. The clue is in the name, people. Even its in-game description states that Psyduck uses a mysterious power. My head hurts. Inserts Psyduck sound effect here.
Let's hear your best Psyduck sound.
I can't do it right now. I legitimately can't remember it.
Really?
Yeah, like I thought about it. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, I agree. It's in the name. It's Psyduck.
It is.
Golduck does
Psyduck.
not become psychic either, does it? It's still just pure water.
No. What? Hey, hang on.
I'm like 85% sure on that one.
I'm pretty sure it's water monotype.
I told you.
This is like Berenstein Bears. Oh my gosh.
I wonder how many people out there. How many people out there just had the Mandela effect occur?
Oh,
where they're
my
like,
gosh.
I swear to God, it's psychic.
I
No,
thought
it's
it was too. I mean, I knew Psyduck was like kind of like a weird spot
Yeah.
where you're like, it should be, but I didn't realize like Golduck was just as disappointing.
Yeah. See, Psyduck would not be so bad if Golduck inherited a psychic typing. It's like Psyduck has these headaches. It doesn't know what it is. It evolves into Golduck. It handles it. Turns out it has psychic powers. That'd be cool.
Kappa. I couldn't agree more. The next one's from Boris. Yeah, the obvious answer is, of course, Charizard. Looks like a dragon. Breathes fire like a dragon. Let's face it, it is a dragon. Well, according to the Pokedex, it's not until you go through all the trouble of mega evolving it, and then only one of its 2 mega evolved forms gets dragon typing.
It's
Yeah, this is a sticking point.
It's more of a dragon than Dragonite is. And Dragonite has it in the name.
True.
Although it's somewhat less of a dragon than Gyarados, and Gyarados is not a dragon either. So
no, but Gyarados has its own problems. That it has flying as a subtype.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. It should be water dragon. Like it's not even a question. That's another flaw here.
True.
Next one's from Defiene. She said Luxray and Luxio should be dual type dark electric. I think it would make that line much more interesting, and it would help make up for the lack of dark types in Gen 4.
100% agreed.
100%. Honestly, anything that's just mono, like fire, water, grass, or electric, it's not very exciting. There's a handful when I think about it, and that's about it.
Yeah, even from a design alone, it looks like a dark Pokemon.
Yep.
So, this next one is from @Nautix UK. Ditto should be a psychic type, not normal. Came from a psychic type and has the ability to transform, which could be considered magical if it were a real creature. So, there you go. I agree. I think Ditto should be a psychic type as well, considering it's supposed to be a failed clone attempt of Mew. So,
yeah, but on the flip side, it's a failed attempt. Therefore, it inherits nothing.
But it inherits the ability to transform.
And so it is nothing.
Cover your Ditto's your nearest Ditto's ears. You're not nothing. You're special. We love you. Listen.
No, I didn't say it was nothing. I said it inherited nothing but the transformation.
Oh, so it is not nothing, but it is it's next to nothing.
No, it's just not Mew. It is nothing of Mew except for the transformation.
Ditto, you are beautiful,
Don't
unique.
put words in my mouth.
We love you, Ditto. Don't listen to this guy.
Next one's from @SPX_Artifactor. They said Volbeat and Illumise both have wings capable of flight, but aren't part flying type. They are also categorized as fireflies. You know what? You got me. That's good. Yeah.
Yep.
Bug flying? Why not?
Yes. This one does not make sense to me either. Now, here's the thing, though. I think that there are certain typings that imply certain things. So, like, bug kind of implies the ability to fly, even if it's not true for all things that are just mono bug, right? Like Parasect is a good example. But when it gets a flying type, it is emphasizing its prowess in flying, like a Yanma or a Scyther that can't learn fly. Never mind. This line of thinking is very quickly dying.
but Scyther does know fly. Is a flying type, and it doesn't know fly. It's like
right. He's got wings. I can see him. This next one's from @FellFromFiction. Porygon line should at least be part electric since they're made of computer code. Yes. Write it down. Publish it. We agree.
100%. Oh, they'd be so much more interesting if they weren't normal type, or just they weren't pure normal type, I suppose.
Yeah.
Next one's from @Ficklon. They said Flygon should be Bug Dragon and have the Sandstorm ability instead of the ground type ability. Sandstorm is from the main series, of course.
I 100% agree with this. I think having a Bug Dragon like this would be really sick. And I think it's kind of rude that it changes from Trapinch to Flygon and then loses its bug typing.
Yeah. It's hard to argue there. Flygon is a kind of a weird Pokemon. Obviously, that has a bit of a weird
Trapinch
history.
Isn't bug.
Yeah, it's just ground, isn't it?
Just ground.
It's the ant Pokemon, though.
The ant pit Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a travesty. I think Flygon should be bug type. I think Trapinch should be bug type. It should have bug types all the way through. The Bravo looks like a dragonfly. Like, come on. Let's make it happen. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, we also got a few email responses here, and this first one is from Simon. To answer this week's Pokemon poll, I have a few thoughts. First is the most egregious mistyping for a Pokemon. If there is a single Pokemon that contains the original DNA for all other Pokemon and additionally can learn basically every single move, what type should it be? If you said Psychic, you are dead wrong. Wow, hot take. So Mew should be every type of Pokemon, but that is not realistic without breaking the game. So instead, Mew needs to fall back on being normal. That's right. Normal. Now let the outcry begin.
Get out.
I can hear people lighting their torches and sharpening their pitchforks outside right now. But to be a bit more serious, one of my pet peeves are normal type Pokemon that have a very significant number of fighting moves. This is great already. What is the difference between a normal type Pokemon and a fighting type Pokemon? Their moves. So take your Vigoroths, Kangaskhan's, Ursarangs, and many other with a bunch of fighting moves and just flip them to be fighting. If they are significant fighters, do what is right or make them even normal fighting.
You know what? I can get behind that. Something like Ursaring definitely should be normal fighting.
I agree. And I think that Vigoroth is a great example. It should turn into fighting then out of fighting later.
Yeah, because it becomes lazy again.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a good one. This next email is from Jackson. My answer to the Pokepoll is Celebi. How come when the fairy type was added, the literal fairy didn't get the fairy type? I think Psychic was kind of the stand-in for Fairy back in the day, and that maybe they would have made it Fairy if Celebi was introduced, if Fairy had already existed instead of a Psychic. But I think it knew too many Psychic moves by the time I get around to it later.
and a lot of the ones that were changed to Psychic were either that were changed to Fairy were either a monotype or they were normal before.
Or normal monotype, yeah.
Yeah. So they probably only didn't do it because Celebi already has dual typing. So it would have been a fundamental change to the Pokemon's already core identity.
Very true. But it is a fairy Pokemon.
Yes, 100% makes sense.
Yeah.
Next one is an email from Jackie Boy. They said, hey guys, want to say I'm a fairly new listener to the podcast and I'm really enjoying it. I'm a role player, so don't get high volume of Pokemon, but I grew up with Pokemon, always wishing they were real. Speaking of things that should be real, Porygon Z, why is he normal and not electric psychic? I mean, the whole move pool screams it, right? I mean, there's nothing normal about it. Also heard you guys are from Chicago area. I'm actually an hour south and would love to trade with you guys or even run some raids. Stay saucy, guys. I can't argue at all about Porygon Z. Like, at the very least, the final evolution should have gone away from normal typing.
Yes. I agree. I mean, electric psychic is a great like posed solution, but I would settle for electric only in this case.
It's so boring, but still better than normal.
It is better than normal. Yep. And once we're back into normal time here and we can actually go out and start doing things, we'll start doing meetups downtown Chicago again, and we'll mention them. So if you ever want to come on up, we'd be happy to have you. Thanks. And our last answer is from Wang J. Chen. Hello, dark ghost type Kyle and bug fairy type Chris. This is dark normal type Wang J. Chen. There are 3 Pokemon I would change typing on, all for the same reason. Their final form branches into 2 different Pokemon. First is Politoed. Poliwrath is this cool water fighting type, so why can't Politoed be a Mudboy, water ground type? That's true. That's a great question.
Is Politoed mono water?
I believe it's mono water.
Oh, yeah, I agree completely. Yes.
Next, it has always seemed pointless for both Slowpoke evolutions to be water psychic. Since it is attached to a Shelder, it should become ice psychic. Yeah, it could. I could see the argument for that. I can see an argument for
that. If anything, it would become water ice, though.
Cloyster is water ice.
Isn't Slowpoke water psychic?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess that's a hard one. That's a hard one, but I understand where it's coming from.
Galarian Slowpoke is psychic monotype.
Ugh.
Interesting. Finally, and second importantly, is Blossom. Blossom looks like the antithesis of the others in its line and should be a grass fairy type. I mean, don't Blossom and Whimsicott just look like cousins? Fair enough.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
The reason I said second importantly is because halfway through typing that there was Pokemon whose typing I've always wanted changed. Electivire should be an electric fighting type. I love fighting types, and he looks like a bruiser. And along with T5E 250's suggestion, it would be an extra shot in the arm to electric types. True. Writing this from the home of Generation 11, this has been Wang J. Chen. Nice. Those were all really great suggestions. This has been one of my favorite questions we've asked. A lot of these are very obvious, but some of these are very fun though too. I love the bug typing and Flygon argument, talking about Psyduck, and I can't believe I didn't know that Golduck was mine water. I feel so
Mandela
dumb.
effect.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you for all of your responses.
So this week's Poke Poll is, what is one fundamental change to Community Day that you would make to improve the recurring event? It is such a hard question.
Really? There's one easy answer.
Oh, okay, go ahead. What's your easy answer?
Bring back extended lures.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of cheating, though, because that's going to happen. Like, there's no way it makes them more money.
Yeah, I suppose it doesn't qualify as a fundamental change.
Yeah. To talk about this, I need to break down what the fundamentals of a Community Day are. It's got one featured Pokemon. It's boosted for the duration of the event, which
in
is usually 6 hours.
And in shiny rate.
Yeah. In spawns and shiny rate. There is a feature that is also boosted, rotating between catch experience, hatch distance, and Stardust. And that's it? Really? I mean, there's
special
like
research tasks all change to be about that Pokemon, and sometimes they change the egg pool.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's okay, so maybe this is going to be a weird one. Make the rewards for those special research and stuff, encounters with the Pokemon, not have the same floor of IVs as default.
Ooh.
So that it's make them more likely to have a PvP IV. Make it weighted in such a way that it's not guaranteed, but it's more likely. It would be more compelling because nobody wants to complete the research or the raids when those are a thing. Like, you remember when Ralts was in raids for that one day? Everyone was like, what?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But counterpoint, do you really need more chances to do that? Isn't it better to have, because then you could focus tasks if you wanted to have one that had better IVs that weren't PvP IVs, because you have so many other opportunities out in the wild because they're everywhere to get a good PvP IV. Otherwise. But
what if it's a weather boosted event?
Then you should just go home. You know,
you're just done. But that said, I have definitely done an entire Community Day and not gotten one that's even remotely close.
I've never had that happen. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I think for me, the fundamental change I would probably want to see most is seeing more evolved forms of the featured Pokemon available in the wild. I understand that, Weedle Community Day was focused on Weedle, but I would have loved to see a bunch of Kakuna and a bunch of Beedrill as well. Yeah, because a lot of those things work well with like the catch bonuses for Stardust and stuff like that. It synergizes well. And also seeing shinies of evolved forms, even if it is something like a Kakuna, would feel good. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be fun.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. But anyway, dear listener, if you have an answer to the question, what is one fundamental change to Community Day that you would make to improve the recurring event? You can answer the question when we post it on Twitter, or if you are a patron in our Discord, we have a channel set up just for this, so please answer in there. You can also send us a voicemail to 262-586-7717, or you could send us an email to mail@gocastpodcast.com. But before any of that mail-related stuff, we're going to pass it on over to Fish and DeFi for the PvP corner. And this week, they asked a question of their own, and it got a lot of really interesting conversation going on social. So thanks to everybody that participated on there. But they're going to be doing a deep dive, in addition to other things, of course, on which Pokemon you wish was more viable in PvP. So over to you.
Hi, I'm Fish and Hater.
And I'm DeFi250.
And this is PvP Corner, the PvP segment with the spiciest picks in all of Great League. DeFi, what's going on in PvP right now?
Well, when we take a look at the Go Battle League, we are just finishing up 2 weeks straight of the Great League. We have the Great League and the Great League Remix, which banned those top 10 Pokemon. I've been dabbling a little bit in both and having some fun with it. But looking ahead, we have the Ultra League and its Premier Cup that is going to run from April 26th to May 10th. And just be keeping your eye out. Be sure you're building up your teams, thinking about what you're going to run. I really want to run an Ultra League XL Talonflame, and thankfully Fletchling up here in the Northern Hemisphere is pretty common right now. So I've been able to keep grabbing those candies.
But there is some more important news, isn't there, DeFi?
I think so. I had a really exciting shoutcasting opportunity this last weekend. I got to shoutcast again for the Sylph Showdown. I did that last month, and then I was invited back to shoutcast this month, which was really, really exciting. So, Fish, can you remind our listeners, what is the Sylph Showdown?
Yeah, so every month the Sylph Arena will invite the top 128 battlers in the world into this Sylph Showdown tournament, where they'll all participate in a 7-rounder, and the overall winner will get an invite straight to the Continental Championships later in the year. So it's a big deal, a lot of high level battles.
Yes, and this month, Sylph Arena Meta Cup is the Prismatic Cup, so that's what everybody played for this month. When you look at all those 128 teams, there were a ton of Lantern and Talonflame and Hypno, but not everybody ran that core of 3. There were some spicy picks among these top battlers. A battler named Tony Jr. used Gyarados and Electivire, and they went 5-2. They had a winning record. Another winning record goes to Enhoff, who is the goddess of the Go Stadium, and she ran a Zapdos in that 3rd slot, along with Double Rock, so a Sudowoodo and a Probopass, and got 4-3, so still kind of came away with that winning record. Caleb Pang, he ran a Sunflora. You heard me. A Sunflora. And got 6-1. He won 6 rounds having a Sunflora on his team. That's crazy.
I think maybe Caleb might have heard the PvP Corner segment from last week where I talked about Sunflora having some interesting play, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I like the way Fish thinks," and clearly it worked because he got a 6-1.
Last month's winner was Dancing Rob, won last month's Sylph Showdown. They came back and won 5 matches out of the 7, and in their 3rd slot, Fish, Pachirisu, the little white electric squirrel.
Right.
And got a 5-2. That's insanely spicy.
The overall winner was a very accomplished battler named Dunebug, who ran not quite a spicy team, went with Lantern, Sunny Castform, Hypno, Snorlax, Noctowl, and Gliscor. What about you, DeFi? Have you been doing all right in Prismatic Cup?
I have. I'm having some losses, but I'm having a lot of wins, and it's thanks to the crab, Crawdaunt. I now have, if you remember my sad story from last week, my Crawdaunt had the wrong move. I'm kind of stuck with it. So I built 2 PvP Crawdaunts. One has Waterfall, one has Snarl. And I've been using them in a couple different tournaments. So like one tournament I'll run the Waterfall one tournament the Snarl one. And I'm just kicking butt and taking names with both. Just total crab dominance. And I am pleased. Just from one tournament running Crawdaunt, my spice index went from a 14 to a 22.
With that, let's move to our listener question, which is from Greninja Muffin, who says, "Hello, DeFi and Fish. I'd like you to critique my team for General Great League. This is on my level 30 account, which I started about a month ago, so please take that into consideration. I currently lead with Parasect with Fury Cutter, Cross Poison, and X-Scissor. I then have a Simipour with Water Gun and Surf, and Marowak with Fire Spin and Shadow Ball. Thanks in advance, Greninja Muffin."
All right, Greninja Muffin. Your team has a couple issues. Mainly, it lacks coverage, especially against some of the most common Pokemon in Go Battle League. You don't have anything on that line of 3 that can beat an Altaria, a G-Fisk, a Pelipper, a Drifblim, some of the most common Pokemon that you're going to run into in Great League right now.
So we are taking your level 30 status into account. The problem is your opponents aren't going to care what level you are. So we do have to be a little ruthless with this. We'd recommend replacing the Simipour with Politoed. Politoed has the Mudshot and Weather Ball, which is a lot more damaging overall than Water Gun and Surf. And if you can second move it, giving it Blizzard will enable you to beat those Pokemon that DeFi mentioned above, Altaria, Pelipper, and Drifblim. Galarian Stunfisk, you'd just want the Weather Ball for, but yeah, it does a really good job against Stunfisk there as well.
We would also suggest giving a second move to that Marowak to give it Bone Club so you can successfully be able to bait moves. So that means you build all the way energy up for the Shadow Ball, but then throw the Bone Club, trying to get your opponent to shield. And being able to kind of burn through those shields really is going to help your Alolan Marowak, and it'll allow it to actually land those Shadow Balls. So Fish, are you ready to do our deep dive for this week?
I'm ready.
Then let's do it. So our deep dive, we had the official GoCast podcast Twitter account. We asked them to put out a tweet, PvP Corner question, which Pokemon do you wish was more viable in Pokemon Go PvP? So we wanted to take a look at some maybe favorite Pokemon, some maybe a little less loved Pokemon in Go Battle League, and talk about them and hype them up a little bit. What we did is we took the core meta of Go Battle League. So in Great League, it's the top 50 Pokemon. In Ultra League, the top 35, and in Master League, the top 27 Pokemon. And we're kind of matching up some of these picks you suggested up against that core. Now, we got so many great suggestions. We don't have time to talk about all of them, but thank you so much for responding to the Twitter question. If you're not already following GoCast Podcast on Twitter, please do.
So the ones that we were able to pick out, we picked out our absolute favorites, the cream of the crop. The first one is Dunsparce from Pidgeygrabber. And Dunsparce is something that I've been saying, like DeFi says with Lopunny, Dunsparce is also one move update away from being amazing. It's got some pretty solid bulk, and it's already got two great charge moves in Rock Slide and Drill Run. It does fall down a bit with the fast move. Now, its two fast moves are Astonish and Bite. Astonish, genuinely terrible. Do not bother with Astonish. But Bite, I think, is a little bit underrated. It has low energy generation, but it's high damage. So it's one of those Pokemon that if you do use it, you're generally just looking for fast move damage. If you run Bite Dunsparce, it will beat all of the ghosts in the top 50 of the Great League. It'll also beat all of the Psychics except for Medicham and Defense Deoxys, who are running that counter damage. And if you're in the 0-0 shield scenario, it'll win 42% of those matchups. So, I mean, it's less than half, so not great. But then if you've got a shield advantage, if you can work it so that your Dunsparce is left in the battle with one shield and they have none, then suddenly you win about 60% of those matchups. So that's a big difference.
All right, I'm on team give Lopunny a better fast move. I can be on that team for Dunsparce too.
Awesome. Glad to have you on board. Here's your membership card.
The next Pokemon we are going to talk about is Steelix, suggested by both PvP Steve as well as Bittersweet. Steelix is a super tanky Pokemon, even tankier than the G-Fisk. I remember running Steelix during Kingdom Cup, during Boulder Cup, playing with it, playing against it. And Thunderfang is really fun. It, like, as a fast move, just visually, it lights up the screen. It's a very fun fast move animation. And it crushes your water flyers. So it'll crush Pelipper. It'll crush Gyarados. Dragon Tail, if you run that on your Steelix, it does a little bit more damage than Mudshot does on a G-Fisk, so it allows Steelix to have a few more farm down opportunities than G-Fisk does with its Mudshot.
Altaria Ego says Blastoise, which Blastoise is kind of left behind because of the powerhouse that is Swampert, but Blastoise can do some great things in its own right. So Blastoise works best in the zero shield scenario, like Dunsparce, and it's tanky enough to survive a Leaf Blade from a Tropius, which Swampert could not even dream of doing, and then KO the Tropius with an Ice Beam and a few Water Guns. So it has that kind of play there. In Ultra League, in the Zero Shield situation, it does most of the same things that Swampert does, but a bit better than Swampert, including beating other Swamperts. So it's got a lot of better play in the Zero Shield than the Swampert that you're probably using at the moment. For example, the XL Talonflame matchup, Swampert actually loses that one, but Blastoise does not.
Interesting. Another Pokemon I think is really interesting is Jacket K suggested Ladian. Now, Ladian is a bug flyer, so that means it's going to destroy any grass type in that core meta, except for Tropius and Abomasnow. Tropius having that air slash damage, Abomasnow having the ice type damage. But it beats, because it's a bug, it'll beat Obstagoon, Scrafty, and Umbreon. And also because it's a bug, it'll beat Cresselia, Hypno, Defense Deoxys, and Medicham, which are all psychic types. It has wins against these really good Pokemon. It double resists fighting moves. So I think Ladian is definitely a spicy little pick out there.
Yeah, I remember someone in my local community brought a Ledian to a very early tournament before level 50 was even a thing, and he ended up sweeping that tournament. So I'm painfully aware of how good Ledian can be. Next we have Yeah, That Seems About Right, who says Greninja. And Greninja is something that I don't think we need to give much treatment to. I think it's already just good on its own. Like in the one shield, straight one shield, no doing anything fancy to try and flip matchups. Just straight up, head to head, it will already beat staple Pokemon such as Alolan Marowak, Talonflame, Frostlass, Galarian Stunfisk, Mew, Haunter, Bastiodon, Whiscash, Sableye, Jellicent, Drifblim, Hypno, both Shadow and Regular, Mandibuzz, and Munchlax. That's a big list. And that's just, from a standing start. If you give it a 3-bubble energy lead, suddenly that list grows to 27 out of 50 of the core meta Pokemon. So obviously too many to list here, but if you want to look that up, that is a good, solid list of wins. You can use it as a safe switch. You could also use it as a lead, and if you lose that lead, you can build a bit of energy before switching out, and that will enable you to kind of swap back in later and surprise a Pokemon with your charged up Surf or Night Slash. Or you can also use it as a closer, because you might want to run Hydro Pump on it instead of Surf. In the 1-0 shield, if you're running Hydro Pump on your Greninja, it will win 32 out of 50 matchups in the Great League. In Ultra League, it'll just take 2 Surfs to feint a Shadow Machamp as well. So that enables you to beat this very common fighting Pokemon with your Dark type.
The last Pokemon we're going to talk about today, Cody C. Johnson brought up Genesect. Now, Genesect is probably the most impressive Pokemon that we have on this list. If you give it a 1 shield advantage, so you have 1 shield, your opponent has 0, it will beat 40 out of the 50 Pokemon in the core Great League meta. It takes that impressive statistic into the Ultra League and Master League as well. Ultra League, it beats 29 out of the 35 core Pokemon there. And Master League, it beats 23 out of the 27 core Pokemon. If it's running Fury Cutter and X Scissor, it'll take about 4.5 seconds to reach X Scissor. It also has access to Magnet Bomb, which is a super high damage move on this high damage Pokemon because it is stab. More stab is more fun. If you have Technoblast, so think about if you have a Burn Drive Genesect, you can get to Technoblast in 7 seconds, and that will one-shot any grass-type Pokemon in the core meta. The only Pokemon that'll survive a Technoblast is a Tropius, and you can just farm that down a Fury Cutter, and then you have another Technoblast ready for the next Pokemon. If you maintain that 1-0 shield advantage with a Technoblast kind of ready to go, you can beat everything except Talonflame and AWAC. So an incredibly impressive Pokemon if given the right situation.
Just a couple of other quick mentions of stuff that we wish we could make work, but we just couldn't really. One was Adam from the Special Conditions podcast mentioned Delibird, which is his favorite Pokemon. And it's just, it's got reasonable moves. Its problem is its stat product, where its max CP and its overall stat product are so low that it doesn't even show up on the Open Great League rankings list on PvPoke. It filters it out because it is so low. So it stops it from getting really any wins in Great League. And Kelvin McRae talked about Noivern, which is a dragon flying type, which I was actually surprised that it was so hard to make work. It has Air Slash, Hurricane, Dragon Pulse, and I think, from memory, Overheat was another possible move. But yeah, I think maybe it's the fact that it doesn't have much to bait shields with, I think really holds it back. But then, I couldn't even get it working in the Zero Shield like I could with some of these other Pokemon. So yeah, really unfortunate and confused by that. I wanted to help you out, Kelvin, but I couldn't.
And with all of that, I think that's a show. We love hearing your feedback. You can reach out to both Fish and myself on Twitter at DFIE250, as well as Fish on a heater _. You can also, if you have any questions or suggestions, you can direct your feedback to mail@gocastpodcast.com, and Chris and Kyle will be sure to get that feedback back to us. And with that, let's send it back over to Chris and Kyle.
Thanks, Fish and DeFi. Appreciate you as always. And that means that we're into this last section of the show. I got to fill this in on the outline. I keep forgetting the name. What's the name? Kyle, help me out.
The emails.
Oh, that's right. And one voicemail. We got one voicemail. We're gonna do that first.
Hi, Chris and Kyle, or Kyle and Chris. I'd say the names at the same time, but I am physically incapable of doing that. My name is Betsy, a.k.a. Zizzy B in the game. I am looking for patron, but can't at this moment. I'm actually a first grade teacher, and I'm on my way to my Saturday job. So I wanted to take a moment to talk about the comments about third-party devices. So I have a gotcha, and this is because I have an Android phone that is always updated to the latest OS, which means that the Pokemon Go Plus and the Pokeball Plus don't work with it anymore. They really almost never did. So the gotcha is the only thing that keeps up with the updates. So I wanted to say that some of us really have no choice when it comes to third-party devices. For us to get the same experience, we have to go to third-party devices. So it's sad that we can't use the first-party devices, but I think that it is totally fair. Otherwise, we would be missing out on something that you guys get too. So, not trying to be a downer, but happy to be part of Team Voicemail. Keep up the good work, guys. Bye!
All right, so this is an exceptional voicemail and brings up a really good point. The functionality of the first-party devices can be spotty. Sometimes they've actually been unavailable to connect for some devices, some generations of devices in the past. And there has been support that's been discontinued for the app overall for even older devices as well, if we want to talk about just app support in general. So now the argument being made here is that for this person's Android device, that the Pokemon Go Plus and the Pokeball Plus both do not keep up with the updates. Now, Kyle, you play on an Android phone.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true for you? Have you never had good connectivity with first party devices, or is it kind of like a specific device situation?
Honestly, since I've only ever used Android, I can't compare, but I have definitely always had issues with first party devices connecting, but I don't know how much of that is from an update perspective versus something else.
Mm-hmm.
Versus just because, like, I know if you see online, you'll see a lot of people just complaining about the connection quality in general, whether your game is up to date or not. For whatever reason, you can have your Bluetooth headphones connected to your phone for 12 years, but the plus will last 30 minutes.
Very true. Very, very true. I have run Pokemon Go on Android and iOS devices. I'm currently on a long iOS kick that Kyle likes to make fun of me for all the time whenever he sees my phone.
Yes.
And I will say the connectivity on iOS devices has been more stable, but is just as unstable as Android is in a lot of cases. I just think that the first party devices are a little bit spotty. And if the third party devices are working better, that's great. But it unfortunately doesn't change the fact that it is still against terms of service, which is why we flat blanket. Our suggestion is don't use them. We're not going to, we never demonize people for using them. I give people a hard time in person because people I hang out with, I know, and I'm just doing that because Kyle can tell you that's how I show my love to people, is just giving them, just hassling them a little bit. We will never say, oh my gosh, your experience is less because you use these devices.
Yeah.
And I think you raise a fair point and a great perspective on them. But our position is always going to be don't use them, because you always will run the risk of, earning a ban or something else. But your concern is totally valid. And thank you so much for sending it in. It's an important part of the conversation.
First emails from Kelvin. They said, hey guys, how are we doing? I think we're doing. That's what we established.
We doing.
I hope your weeks are going well. It's exciting seeing Survivors in the wild here in the UK. I really hope I can get a shiny before it slithers away again. Anyway, my first question for this week is, what do you call plural Zangoose? Is it Zangooses or Zangies? I have full trust in you two to come to a conclusion with this. My second question is regarding phones. I'm due to upgrade in the next few months, and I'm not sure what to go for. My phone is 90% of the time on Pokemon Go, and I'd like it to have a good camera. So what are your suggestions? I've always been one of them iPhone people, but I think I'm ready to make the change. I'm kind of having a break from the game this week. I'm still sending all of my gifts out every day, but I only really shiny check when I get the chance. I hope you guys have a good week. Kelvin, aka Kelv Cooks Custard. All right, so we got two questions. First, what's the plural of Zangoose?
I like Zangies a lot.
I think the correct answer is Zangoose.
Zangoose? Oh yeah, for sure. But you can catch me out here saying Zangies and making people upset.
Look at all those Zangoose over there. It's Zangoose. That's the correct answer. Chris can say Zangies all he wants.
Surrounded by Zangies.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
As for phones, we just touched on this a moment ago, but I'm gonna say don't get the Samsung S21 or the S20 Fan Edition. I currently have the S20 Fan Edition, and
does it have a fan in it?
No, not that kind.
Is
of
it
fan.
Shaped like a fan?
No.
Can you fold it out and extend its display like a tablet and fan yourself with it?
No.
Then what does it stand for?
Fan as in like fans, like fanatic. It was a cheaper version of the S20 for people who still liked Android but didn't want to get the flagship.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, it has issues with Pokemon Go, and I will leave it at that. But I cannot recommend the Google Pixel enough. Whenever I replace my current phone, I'm going to go back to whatever flagship Google releases for the Pixel when that time comes.
Mm-hmm. There are some really good selling points for either. And I think, honestly, it comes down to what's most important to you. I can speak from both perspectives, although my Android perspective is very out of date. So I'll rely on Kyle's opinion, which he just gave, which is great. I really like iOS devices for phones. I've gone the Android route in the past before, and it got just really complicated. I enjoyed kind of the simplicity of iOS devices. Here's the thing, is that Pokemon Go is a battery draining fiend, regardless of what type of phone you have. Every single time I get a new phone, I buy a battery case for it because I play Pokemon Go so much.
Yeah, that's fair. I just keep a giant brick of a battery with me wherever I go.
I have both sometimes. You've been there when I've had to use both on especially like GoFest days when it's like the last couple of hours and we're all huddling around our one friend with a backpack that has the one battery that's left and we can't leave because we're on a little extension cord leash from them. Yeah. But the thing is that I think iOS offers a really great level of stability that you can rely on, but you can get like enhanced frame rates from some of the new Android devices. There's a bunch of really cool things you can get from them.
Also, I'm pretty sure across the board, Androids tend to have larger built-in batteries, mostly because iPhones try to have the sleekest possible design. So I think that's a pretty significant feature if you care about that.
Yes. So this conversation is less about the phones from a Pokemon Go perspective and more about the phones in general.
I mean, the first thing I look at when I get a new phone, or at least for the last like 6 years, was how's the battery life? Because I'm going to need it.
Yep.
So
I just buy battery cases and deal with it. The camera quality on iPhones are exceptional. Even the consumer grade ones are very good as well. Android boasts some very strong cameras as well, but those are usually on the high end models.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of depends on how much money you're looking to spend there, Kelvin. But anyway, thank you for the email there, Kelv Cooks Custard. This next one's from Getsu Fractal. Hey, Chris and Kyle. Thanks for the great show. Well, thanks for listening. I'm listening to you talk about Fast Catch and how the Pokemon can be tapped on again. I've noticed that normal spawn Pokemon will Cloud Poof if I tap on them again after Fast Catching. However, other spawns such as Smeargle, the Daily Personal Lure, and Instant spawns behave like you described. Even if they have been caught, tapping on them will allow me to interact with them again. So I try to pay attention to instant spawns and treat them differently. Also, if I'm not walking, I keep track of which ones I've interacted with because they turn towards your avatar on the map. Very true. These are great tools for those of you that also fast catch. You should listen to these tips. It's great. By the way, my catch of the week is a shiny Spinda, a very lucky catch for me since I've only caught 45 total. Thanks again for the best Pogo podcast. Aw, thanks. Getsu Fractal. Nice catch of the week. I'm very jealous.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Oh my God. I can't remember the last Spinda research I got. It was a while ago.
The task is difficult. It's always hard.
And it's also not common. Like it's a very rare task.
Sure is. Thank you for the email. Appreciate it.
Next email is from Joshua. And he said, hey guys, I'm late on this, but I had to share this memory. This was the first Friday after the game released. 2 friends and I headed to a local community college, and we were told there were lots of spawns and stops. We get there, and there are tons of stops, all with lures on them. As I walk in, I catch my first Bulbasaur, which was already making it fun for me. Don't get me wrong, my starter was Charmander, and while at work, the first thing I caught was a Venonat, and then Rhyhorn. So these Pokemon hold special places in my heart for some reason. Now on to the story. We're at the school in Cypress, Texas, and we're having a blast. We met so many new people. Everyone was helpful, saying things like, you guys looking for the horse, go by that tree, or there's a Slowpoke by that door. It was really the closest time to world peace.
Mm-hmm.
So a few hours pass and someone yells, Dragonair. And now remember, the game was buggy at this time. We all 3 look at our nearby and they see it. I don't. So they run over there. I tell them I wouldn't because I don't see it. I think it's gone or a glitch. They proceed to go ahead and see it spawn. They click and start catching. It freezes and start catching. It freezes. The faces they made when the game froze were priceless. It was like going to the zoo and petting the baby giraffe and someone punches it while dropping your ice cream.
Ooh, no, thank you.
We literally sat there for 20 minutes until they said, well, let's walk away. Maybe the connection is bad over here. To make matters worse, they said to close out and open back up. Couldn't get back in. The server went down.
Oh, no.
I had to hold back my laughter because I told them, don't do it. First email. Hopefully this brings enjoyment and entertainment. Listening since GoFest 2020. You guys are awesome and help keep my mental health down because I can enjoy this game in more ways than one. Thanks, guys. That's a good launch time story right there.
Yeah, I think we all have an experience, hopefully if you were playing around that time, of being out in a public space and just hearing people scream about Pokemon in a public forum. It's a good time. Good time.
And now everyone's like, That game's still around?
Yeah, but if a Dragonite spawns, we're all still like, oh, I'll walk a couple of blocks for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, like, oh, Dragonite? Yeah, sure.
You got it. Thanks for the email. This next one's from John. Hey there, Chris and Kyle. John back again to rep team email. Hope you guys have been having a good week, not just with Go, but in general. It's been going. Capital G, capital O. This week, I wanted to know what your thoughts were overall for the Rivals Week event. One of the things that I just really loved was the fact that there was no time to research or catch challenge. Now, while I like having something to work on during an event, it was a breath of fresh air to simply play the event very casually without having something in the back of your mind that you have to complete before the event ends. We need more of that, in my opinion. Not every event has to be a timed research/catch challenge. I will disagree with you there, John. Also, while I did not mind the global challenge, I think the task of 40 million raids to unlock 2 times dust was not really worth it. I'll take it, but I think it would have been better if the goal was cut in half, so we could have actually had about 3 to 4 days of doubled Stardust as opposed to a day and a half. If they keep doing this for future events, what they should do is have that global challenge be for the upcoming event and not the event that is currently running. That's a brilliant idea. Anyway, I'd love to get your thoughts on my takes here. I'll talk to you guys later, and have a good one, gents. See ya. All right, so not having a catch challenge or anything that's time gated during an event, so you can kind of relax and enjoying that little break. And then also thoughts and takes on the 40 million raids to unlock 2 times Stardust. It was for 2 days, not just a day and a half. It was for 2. And it was a weekend, which was cool.
So personally, I don't think every event needs a catch challenge. I would be okay if it did. Don't get me wrong. But also seeing it not happen, it's like, okay, that's fine. It just means you can not focus something or only do exactly what you want to for the event. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing overall. I think it depends on the event, though.
Yeah, I think that's very, very true. I don't think there's anything wrong with having events where stuff like that doesn't happen, but I really like having something to do. Whether it's a catch challenge or a special research, even if I have to pay for the special research, like I'll do it.
Chris is a masochist, but anyways.
But we know this about me. I like hatching eggs. I like special research, and I love collection challenges. Like I like having things to do.
That said, it makes sense why there wasn't a catch challenge, because usually the catch challenge features the Pokemon of the event. And they released 2 new Pokemon, so they probably didn't want to have the catch challenge require the 2 new Pokemon for whatever reason. It just feel like people probably would have been like, but I can't find any of them. They're not spawning near me. I don't understand. Even though they were not rare.
No, Pop and Incense, you would have seen both at least once in that hour. But what about the 40 million raids and unlock 2 times Stardust? We didn't talk about this at all, and I'm sure you came brimming with thoughts and takes.
So I'm firmly in agreement with John here. This is exactly how I think it should have been. Or even not for the next event, the next week. Here's a week-long event. Finish this over the course of a week. You get this next week when there's no event happening. Makes use of regular spawns from the season, but gives people a reason to keep playing, because 2 times Stardust for a whole week. Yeah, people are going to do that.
That's true. That's true.
And or conversely, 40 million is just way too many, I think.
I don't think so.
I think it's too many for the course of, what was the event was only 5 days, wasn't it? Was it a week?
No, it was from a Tuesday to a Sunday.
So it was 5 days. That's too many raids for 5 days. I think full stop.
I disagree. Everybody that says that, I'm gonna pick this bone. Everybody that says that is just literally armchair philosophizing about this, because we don't know what the average amount of raids are for a week. I would believe it if they said 40 million raids happens every 5 days on average. That's probably where they got the number from.
If that is the number, that means we were never destined to beat it. 40 million needs to be the average for like 2 to 3 days for this to be a reasonable number.
But that's with people not focusing on it. If you then focus on it and people that normally do 1 or 2 raids a week suddenly do 5 or 6, you're tripling that number from somewhere else. And so 40 would then be easy to do.
I mean, I think that type of mentality is a negative mentality towards monetizing the game for very little benefit. That person who did 1 or 2 in the week probably bought raid passes to do those 5 or 6. And their overall benefit was almost nothing. I'm sorry, but 2 times Stardust for 2 days. If somebody told me that was happening next Saturday, Sunday, I wouldn't even blink about it. Like, for no reason. Like, if it was just, hey, next Saturday, Sunday, 2 times Stardust, it'd be like, cool. But to then have to do something to unlock that, it's just not a good enough reward to be compelling by itself. I think that's my biggest issue with it.
I think it could have been 3 times Stardust for sure. But in my mind, I'm looking at it like these raids were going to happen anyway. Why not make it into something fun for us to track? The real-time tracker worked really, really well.
Yeah.
And it's always fun feeling like you're doing something together as a team. People were celebrating how many raids they were doing because it was tracking it. They did something really cool with that in that Today View window as well. People were talking about it on social. It was a thing. And I just saw so many people hating on it, and it really bugged me. My favorite thing that I saw and heard from several different people was that this was an attempt to boost revenue at the end of a quarter or something like that. Did y'all forget that we had Rayquaza in raids? I think the quarter was looking fine.
I mean, if anything, that was probably the end of the quarter. We don't know when their quarters go to.
Right. But it shouldn't even be part of the conversation. That, to me, that's lazy cynicism.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't agree with that. I'm personally just of the opinion it was too many raids for too little reward. I don't care how many raids it was. I don't care what the reward was, but the two together is where it kind of pushes me over the edge and being negative about it.
For sure. I just, I think to me, I was like, the feature worked well. And I thought that was something to celebrate. And everybody was like, 40 raids, that's $40 million because we don't get free passes every day or anything like that. Like, come on, y'all. It's just calm down a little bit. I can totally agree that the rewards were not stellar. I can totally agree that 40 million raids sounds like a ton because it is a ton of raids. But like, this is the first time they did a feature like this outside of a big event. And that feature itself for those big events was like introduced only for like Go Fest and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to see it co-opt into this. There were a couple of weird things where if you clicked on like the question mark, it said that the bonus would be in place until the next global challenge bonus was active, which was carryover text from when it was live for Go Fest or whatever the case might have been for Ultra Unlocks, I think. I don't remember specifically, but I don't think it was. I just saw so many people like demonizing Niantic over it. I was like, y'all, calm down. We got Stardust for something we would have done anyway. Like,
people are going to demonize because in everyone's mind, when you first look at this, you see money.
Yeah, like it looks like a cash grab.
It looks like a cash grab regardless. Sure. And the biggest thing is it worked. I don't mean it worked as a cash grab. I mean it worked as a feature. Mm-hmm. There was no significant errors except for numerical, like display errors, right? Which means it's going to happen again, which means we're going to see this again. Right. And if we see it again and we see the same bad numbers, there's going to be a stronger reaction.
I think 3 times Stardust would have been really good.
Yeah. Three times for 2 days, 2 times for a week. Simple, plain and simple, in my opinion.
Yeah. I can get behind that too. I can. But anyway, thank you for the email, John.
Next email is from Hugo, and they said, "Hey, Chris and Kyle, Hugo here from Hong Kong. I just listened to your podcast in early 2021. I think it's about time I say hello. I've enjoyed listening to your podcast while walking around and playing Pokemon Go. About my Rivals Week experience, I was excited to see Timber in Raid as I've been trying to catch a shiny and a good 90% plus IV ever since it was released. Around a week ago, I was very happy to see that Sparkle and a different color Timber after the raid. However, my heart sank when I saw its CPU was just 716, which is a 12, 11, 12. Ooh, 80% Timber.
Yeah.
Oh, well, at least I finally got a shiny Timber. A few days ago, I managed to get a 742 Timber. I was very excited to check its IVs. I was expecting to be at least a 93% as it's close to the perfect 751. But to my surprise, it is a 15, 14, 12, 91%. I sighed once again, but hey, I did achieve both my goals of catching a shiny and a 90% Timber. I also managed to complete my shiny Mew special research.
Nice.
My shiny Mew is 14, 13, 14.
Yes.
I was hoping to get a Shundo Mew as I saw some people get on social media. So here's my question to both of you. Should Niantic make the IV of Pokemon capture from special research equal for everyone? Or is it fine that everyone gets a different IV depending on their luck? Can't wait to listen to your episode. P.S. Regarding the memorable Pokemon Go experience discussed in your podcast, I think mine was when you guys were listing down the available shinies for Weather Week. And as you mentioned, Lotad, I clicked on a Lotad that spawned on my map and it was shiny. What a coincidence. That's pretty great.
Confirmed scientifically, listening to us increases your chance of acquiring a shiny.
Increases your shiny rate.
Yep. So, boy, oh boy, I got feelings about this. Kyle, you go first because I'm going to talk.
All right. I have one thought, one question leading with the question. How many scenarios does a Mew with ideal PvP IVs flip from a bad Mew? From a loss to a win? Because it's probably like one, if I had to guess.
Yeah. I didn't understand the point you were making for a second there, but I 100% agree now that it's come to its fruition that the difference between a 15-15-15 shiny Mew and a 10-10-10 shiny Mew is so negligible.
And that's why I'm curious. I would, if we weren't in the middle of recording, I would actually go look up and put the numbers in, but I'm not going to do that now. So I'm going to say it doesn't actually matter, and they should let the dice roll for the IVs.
I feel the opposite. I think it should be locked. I don't care if it's 10-10-10, 13-13-13, or 15-15-15. You can only get one. And so it's frustrating that for those of us that when we don't get up 100% and we want to hunt more so that we don't have the opportunity. I don't want it to be 0-15-15 for some PvP requirement. If it's 15-15-15, that means everybody's got it. It's not special, but it does scratch the itch for people that do care, and there's no harm in it. So I think that there is a little bit of harm done in the dice roll because for the people that it does bother, because this game is partially built around those people that want to continue to hunt until they get their ideal IVs, it is a little bit disrespectful to that gameplay.
Yeah. Okay.
In the big picture, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't. But I think
I just want to say the difference that a Mew makes in its total IVs is exactly one win.
It doesn't matter. That's not what I'm talking about. The usability doesn't matter. It's about the feel, because if you finally get your shiny Mew, you've walked 151 kilometers. You've done a million other things. I'm working through it right now. I'm almost finished walking my kilometers. It's the masterwork stuff takes a long time. Kyle's going to finish it by 2024. That's how
once I get the catch one done, I'll be able to do the other ones, no problem.
Okay. All right. It'll be great to see that happen. I'm excited for us to both have our shiny Mews very soon. But when you appraise it, and if it's 10-10-10, you cannot tell me that your initial is like, oh man, like, come on.
I mean, honestly, a 10-10-10 is just as funny. I saved 0%. I actually don't even think I have a 0%, ironically enough. I have like a 2%. That's the lowest
It's funny, but it still feels bad.
I mean, it doesn't feel that bad for me.
We just use humor to cover up and cope with our personal just distress.
My regular Mew is not that great. My Celebi is not good. My Celebi is actually awful, if I remember correctly. And it just doesn't.
I think that's just Celebi, buddy.
Well, no, but I mean, if Celebi had a grass fast move, it'd actually be pretty all right. But that's a problem. Separate problem. I don't know. I think there's a bigger issue in that we need to be able to get a second, like another Mew or more Mew because people powered up their first one.
There's that. And then also there was a glitch back when the stack was the thing that got reset. You could get a second regular Mew. So some people have 3. That being said, I agree. I understand, appreciate, doesn't make a big difference overall, but just there's a little window when people are like, it's 11, 12, 11 that you're like, dang, that ain't special at all, is it? It could have been better. Like, remove that feel bad situation from the equation, especially because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I will give you that. I just simply don't agree. That's all.
Great. That's what I like to hear. All right. Thanks for the email there, Hugo. Appreciate it. This last one is from Mitch. Hello, Krubbish and Kylemer. Hey, Mitch. What's going on, my sustainable friends? I have had a great week of play, and I look forward to the start of Sustainability Week. I battled a lot last week in GBL. I used a team in Open GBL that pretty much carried me to rank 20. Now that I'm at rank 20, I am done for the season. It seems like my skill just falls off the edge of a cliff when I see that ELO number. Thanks to Venusaur, Bastiodon, and G Stunfisk. That's a nice set. Updates on Twitch. GoCast Farion El Bronchosaurus made some emotes for me. Thank you. Exciting times for those already on the gravy train. They're nice, very fun emotes.
Yes.
I love them. And one other thing. I like Binacle. It's not weird or creepy. It's cool. One of my favorite Pokemon. It'll go in my future best buddy box right next to Electric.
Get out of here. Mitch, you're just being contrarian here. That's my job.
Old goals, rank 20 in GBL. Yes. Now, what to use that Elite Fast TM on? 10 additional Theory and Landorus caught? Yes. Already ready to max one. 1 million experience? Nope. Fell short, but that's okay. New goals. Before my sustainability action. Catch a shiny Trubbish and acquire 500,000 experience. 113 million experience total. And as always, shiny vibes all. Mitch, Cooks, Gravy, Harry, and Resin Super Player. Thank you for your email, Mitch. Quite appreciate it. If you would like to send an email just like these fine folks did, you can to mail@gocastpodcast.com. You can also leave us a voicemail at 262-586-7717. Visit our website for all things GoCast Podcast, including all that contact information. If you can't remember or don't want to rewind, go to gocastpodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at GoCastPodcast. Support us on Patreon monetarily for as little as $1, and that gets you access to our patron Discord, which is the best perk we have available by far. Go to Patreon, that's patreon.com/GoCastPodcast. Shout out to our elite trainer tier patrons: Cyprian, Bo, Daniel, Zekwalker, Andrew, Chad, Robert, Lori, Swartz, Michael, Ozzy, Ted, Jabril, and Tish. Y'all are the real MVPs. Thank you so much for helping us keep the digital lights on. We also got 2 reviews this week. This first one from CJ Trutch. This is very helpful for me and all Pokemon Go players and newbies. It keeps me up to date on new events, Pokemon, and updates, and not forgetting PvP data. They are the best and very funny and informative. Thank you so much. And the second one from, I'm assuming, a relative, the real CJ Trutch. Are you a Pokemon geek, want to know more, and are playing Pokemon Go? Then this is the podcast for you. Thank you very much for those reviews. Reminder, if you want to help support the show and the monetary route is not available to you, that you can for free by leaving a review on your favorite podcatcher that has infrastructure for review. So that leaves out Spotify. Get it together, Spotify. But
that's why I listen to my podcasts.
That's why I listen to my podcast too. I'm upset about it. Anyway, let's do some goals and get out of here. So, Kyle, this week, what are you going to be doing? This weekend is going to be the friendship event, so keep that in mind.
Oh, I
don't know what that means for goals, but whatever that means, there you go.
I mean, there is that special research, right, for 100,000 experience.
Collection challenges and stuff,
I want to do that. I want to make sure I find time to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to finish my best buddy with Bane, my 100% Gengar, and figure out what the heck I'm going to do next for buddies.
Okay.
Let's go for 350,000 Stardust, because I'm assuming you can't lucky egg that research experience. So,
anything else? Just those 3?
Yeah, just those 3. I am officially cutting back on spending on Pokemon Go outside of events or very compelling raids at the moment.
All right. That sounds like a good plan to me that I will not subscribe to. My goals for this week are going to be Friendship Day in its entirety, all the things that I possibly can, do them, collection challenge, and all the other challenges. Just do it all. 1 million experience total. Hopefully Friendship Day will help push me over the edge with that sort of stuff. And then work on my friendship with Quasar, my 100% Rayquaza. I've gotten to the first heart, of course, it's very easy to do. And I'd like to work on the rest with walking and doing events and playing this week and or weekend. So that's it. I'll also only set 3 goals. But that's it. We've gotten to the end of the episode. Thanks so much for listening all the way through. Kyle, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, anytime. It'd be weird if I didn't. Let's be honest. Be weird if I wasn't here either.
That's a wild Nidoqueen.
I don't know. Oh, that's even stranger. I don't think I'd want to do a solo show. That'd be kind of weird.
You did it once.
Yeah, it was weird.
One time in 141 episodes.
It was very strange. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see y'all next week. Thanks so much for listening all the way through. Bye-bye.
Bye.